Canada is absolutely furious about what went down in the Oval Office yesterday between Donald Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. Donald Trump continued to attack Canadian sovereignty. The 51st rhetoric continued. He talked about merging Canada into the United States and taking away Canada's sovereignty. In response to a question about Canadians no longer traveling to the United States, Donald Trump's response was, "I don't even care. Americans hate the Canadian auto industry." What are you talking about, Donald? Canada's auto manufacturing is necessary and indispensable to America's auto industry, and it is a thriving industry where America gets many of its parts and automobiles from. Donald Trump then tried to take credit for saving the lives of 100,000 Canadians by shooting at fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela and blowing them up, and then posting ISIS-style death videos of fishing boats blowing up. Donald Trump continued to attack Canada over and over again, and Canadians are already fed up, but I think this just pushed them even further over the line that they had already crossed. Take a look at just some of the headlines that came from this, I think, disastrous meeting. The New York Times headline, "Trump predicts that Canada will love us again in meeting with Carney." What bizarre and deranged and sociopathic language. They're going to love us again. No, Donald. Canada despises the Trump regime. They despise you and your cabinet and the hate that you've spread throughout the United States and throughout the continent and the world. Or how about this headline right here? Donald Trump signals optimism on Canada trade, but offers no concessions. I think another way to phrase that is Donald Trump is a con artist. Well, if you just give me a little bit of, I don't know, say your sovereignty, maybe we could do a deal together, but I'm going to have to continue tariffing you, Canada. I'm going to have to continue attacking your sovereignty and trying to hurt your people, but I'll just go and use words like, we should just love each other again. What a deranged individual. I know the people of Canada see through it. I want to give a shout out to the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, because I think he hit back strong against Donald Trump. You don't have to take my word for it. I want you to watch his speech where Premier Ford says, we need to hit back hard at Donald Trump. Enough is enough. We can't be bullied by this guy. We need to stand up and make Trump and his regime and the country he's now representing. We love Americans, but if they're coming after us, we have to make them feel pain. Listen to Premier Ford yesterday play this clip.
My solution is every time they hit us, we hit them back. Or we just keep getting rolled over and rolled over. They have to feel the pain. The Americans have to feel the pain. And then you'll get a reaction from President Trump. But again, if you just let a bully just run over you constantly and you don't hit back, we'll be sitting here with no jobs. The Americans will have the jobs. And maybe the Prime Minister will sit back and think, what the heck did I do? I'm just telling you what I would do. I would hit back against President Trump when he's going after the sectors like the cabinet manufacturers, furniture manufacturers, our great lumber industry that we ship 30% down to the U.S. And guess what? The Americans are going to pay the price. The costs are going up. Very early that he did it, and it did hurt the American economy. And we can't sit back. We have two choices, folks. You sit back and let Trump run the country, roll us over, and we bow down to the guy. That's not what Doug Ford believes. We sit there and fight like we've never fought before. We make sure that we have the most competitive environment in the entire world to attract more companies that we're doing here in Ontario. That's what the federal government needs to focus on.
And this is how he started his speech. Again, very powerful words, I thought. Very appropriate words, I thought, during this speech. Let's play it.
Well, hello, everyone. And today, I guess, is a big day for Canada and the U.S. And I look forward to speaking to the Prime Minister, and all the premiers do, after the meeting with President Trump. But there has to be a point that if Prime Minister Carney can't get a deal, we have to start hitting back. We need to hit back hard. We can't continuously decline tariffs, and President Trump increases tariffs, no matter if it's 10% on our lumber industry, softwood lumber, or if it's 25% on furniture or cabinets. I visit a lot of furniture companies and cabinet manufacturers, and I know one thing: we buy a tremendous amount of furniture off the U.S. and as well as cabinets, but we also ship cabinets down to the U.S. But we can't just keep rolling over to President Trump. As he strengthens his case, we seem to be weakening our case by continuously pulling off tariffs. I'd take a different approach. Try to get a deal. If you can't, we got to hit him back hard and never stop hitting him back hard, because we can never take a backseat to anyone, especially President Trump. We have a great country, resilient country, a powerful economically, we're powerful. The U.S. exports more products to Canada than anywhere in the entire world. And it sounds great with the Americans until they start seeing inflation. We've seen inflation down in the U.S. I just came back from a meeting in Quebec with 2 governors. They're seeing inflation. We're seeing it in sectors. The auto sector, they're going to see an increase of over $107 billion. Other companies are seeing it. John Deere, they're laying over 280 people off because of tariffs. We're seeing it across every single sector. So it's time to sit down. Let's get a deal, or let's start hitting back.
Just to remind you a little bit about what went down at that disastrous Oval Office meeting, I'm just going to show you a few clips because I did a longer video on this yesterday. You can watch that. But then I also want to show you what the governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Governor Shapiro, had to say, because he had powerful words defending Canada as well, which I think you need to see. So here was in the Oval Office yesterday where that reporter asked Donald Trump about Canadians not traveling to the United States, and then Donald Trump attacks Canada's auto industry. Here, play this clip.
Canadians are refusing to go to the U.S. The numbers are down like 23% in the first 7 months of the year. What do you say to Canadians that don't want to go to the U.S. now because of your 51st state talk, because of the trade war, the tariffs?
Yeah, well, I understand that. Look, I understand that, and Americans don't want to buy cars that are made in Canada. I mean, we have the same conflict. So there isn't. It's something that will get worked out. There's still great love between the 2 countries, but American people want product here. They want to make it here. Detroit was emptied out and moved to Canada, moved to Mexico, moved to other places, not just Canada. And now they're all moving back, they're moving back. We have, right now, I was just telling Mark, we have 17 trillion, but it's really much higher. That was as of a couple of months ago. Yeah. We have over $17 trillion being invested now in the United States.
Then in this next clip right here, Donald Trump takes credit falsely, fraudulently, for saving the lives of 100,000 Canadians by blowing up small fishing boats off the coast of Venezuela unlawfully in violation of American law and international law. Here, play this clip.
And as you know, we've taken a very hard stand on drugs. This is also benefiting you. We've a lot of we call them the water drugs, the drugs that come in through water. They're not coming. There are no boats anymore. Frankly, there are no fishing boats. There's no boats out there, period. If you want to know the truth, we're saying, does anybody go fishing anymore? The fact is, we knocked out, probably saved at least 100,000 lives, American lives, Canadian lives, by taking out all those boats coming in. So it's, and now they don't come in that way anymore. Now they'll come in other ways, and we're not going to allow that either. So we've done a great job on that.
Now back to Premier Ford in the speech that he gave yesterday in Ontario. He goes, again, we have to stand up to this bully. If you can't do a deal, fine, stand up to the bully. Here, play this clip.
If the Americans want to see inflation stop, you make a deal with Canada. You want to see the economy grow, make a deal with Canada. That's what we need to do, because it will hurt both countries if we don't. But you sure don't sit back and get beat up by a bully every single day. It's like a kid going to the schoolyard and getting punched in the face every day. It's time to hit back if he can't get a deal. Maybe Prime Minister Carney knows something I don't know. And if that's the case, he should sit down with the premiers and explain that. That's what he needs to do.
Folks, as you know, I am obsessed with my Ridge wallet. Their unique, slim, modern design holds up to 12 cards plus cash. The Ridge wallet is made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. They have over 50 plus colors and styles that you can choose from. All Ridge products have a lifetime warranty. This is literally the last wallet you'll ever have to buy. Ridge gives me peace of mind knowing that all Ridge wallets have RFID blocking technology, keeping you safe from digital pickpocketers. Oh, and by the way, they have over 100,000 five-star reviews. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, and a lifetime warranty on all of their products. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge by using code Meidas at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code Meidas, and you're all set. After your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that MeidasTouch sent you. And Premier Ford has a plan also. He goes, let's cut off energy to the United States. Just cut off our energy. Why are we giving them cheap energy? Let's divert that energy to our people and stop giving them energy and make them pay. Make them feel pain is what he's saying. If they keep trying to hurt us, that's how you have to deal with the bully. I agree. And I'm an American, but that's generally how you have to deal with bullies. You got to stand up, especially when it comes to this pathetic, vile thing in the Oval Office. Here, play this clip.
Well, what we need to do is use that energy to be more competitive. If he wants to shut down every single industry, President Trump, we're going to need the energy. We're giving the U.S. energy at an extremely low cost. We're keeping 1.5 million lights on and businesses open in New York and Michigan and Minnesota, and I know other provinces are doing the same thing. Let's start giving it to our manufacturers. They work a night shift, off hours, off peak hours. Maybe they want to shift some manufacturing and get their electricity at a much lower cost. I'd rather support our Ontario manufacturers and support our neighbors south of the border that are competing against us. And President Trump constantly attacking our economy, attacking our people.
And then today, Premier Ford will be speaking at an event where Howard Lutnick will also be there. So he had this message for Lutnick, Commerce Secretary. Here, play this clip.
My message is very clear to Howard Lutnick. You know, this is not going to work. I got an idea, Howard. Look up Ronald Reagan. Take a look at what he said about tariffs. What it does, it increases inflation, which is happening in the U.S. and Canada. And at the end of the day, people start losing their jobs. So why don't we partner together and come up with a solution and stop attacking Canadians?
Now, this is the clip I wanted to show you of Democratic Governor Josh Shapiro from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Let's play it.
What is not helpful is the bullying. What is not helpful is failing to remember our shared history and the way we are intertwined. What is not helpful is the way in which the president has demeaned our neighbors in the North, suggesting that they should be the 51st state. I respect Canadian sovereignty, and I hope that tomorrow when this meeting occurs in the White House, respect will rule the day, that we will hammer out a trade agreement that works for both sides, and that Pennsylvanians can continue to work with our partners in the North to grow our economy, to protect our farmers, to expand our manufacturing base. The final thing I'll say is this: slapping a tariff on Canada, even for Pennsylvania companies that are based in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, that source their raw materials in Pennsylvania, that don't rely on raw materials from Canada, the prices for those companies are going up. The capital needed to be able to expand is staying in the private sector's pocket, meaning they are not investing the kind of capital that is needed to grow and expand right now. And so by the president pushing the tariff button, he's not only alienating one of our most important global allies, He's driving up the cost for Pennsylvania farmers, driving up the cost for Pennsylvania small businesses, driving up the cost for Pennsylvania manufacturers, even those who are doing it in the president's mind the right way, note the air quotes here, by doing it based in America, sourced with American products, sourced with American raw material, with American workers. We're still seeing prices go way up because the president decided to push the tariff button and drive up costs on the American people. It is dangerous, the rhetoric he's engaged in, and his practices are making things cost more. And it is not in America's long-term interest, I believe, to have this fight with Canada. It will make things cost more and will undermine our unique relationship.
And I think he lays it out there quite perfectly what the reality is. And he's saying, here's how Pennsylvania is suffering based on Donald Trump's attack on our friends in the North. And I hope Canadians watch that in particular so that you can see that America, and I think you know this, that America isn't all Donald Trump, although unfortunately he's the guy in the Oval Office right now, that there are leaders of the future who love Canada, support Canada. But you got to do what you got to do with this Trump regime. And you know, here at MeidasTouch, we started Meidas Canada, which is absolutely crushing it right now. It's led by my friend and your friend, Charlie Angus, a former member of parliament there. Now, Charlie Angus and I were discussing Farmageddon in the United States, right? That Donald Trump has bankrupted most of American farmers right now by his trade war against the world. Listen to what Angus had to say, his perspective about Canadian agriculture versus American agriculture right now. Here, let's play this clip.
Well, Ben, that's a really important issue. You know, Meidas Canada, we're doing the Meidas Canada town hall. So we were in the farm belt in southern Ontario, Port Elgin, Owen Sound area, you know, driving past bumper crops, record season. I was just in Saskatchewan, our breadbasket, watching the farmers taking the hay off the fields. What I'm hearing in Saskatchewan, okay, we've got issues with the Chinese, but this is a great year. And the reason farming is doing so well is that Donald Trump has blown up what could have been a bumper crop year in the United States by what? Number one, going after the migrant workers. So in California, Arizona, New Mexico, chasing the workers out of the fields. Then the tariff wars is causing havoc in places, you know, like the Dakotas, Montana, because they rely on all their parts suppliers, the potash coming over from Canada. So those input costs are creating chaos. But the big issue is when you threaten people and you threaten their countries, they don't buy your product. I mean, we don't buy Iowa corn anymore. We don't buy American produce. If you go to any of our grocery stores, it's amazing. It's Mexico, 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 Peru, Peru, Peru. And then there's one thing from the United States sitting on the shelves. So the American farmers who bought into Trump thinking tariffs were going to help them, their markets are gone. And what's happening, again, Canada's not shooting its mouth off. They're letting Donald do his thing. Canada is moving in on the corn market. Canadian corn is being sold now in Ireland, Spain, and the UK. This was like hardcore guaranteed American markets before. It's not anymore. Tomatoes, you know, Mexico's moving in. Canadian greenhouses are moving in. And the other thing, this is a really important thing to show why they're calling it Farmageddon right now in the United States of the collapse that they're facing in the communities that supported Trump, is that, you know, they went after all the woke regulations and all that environmental stuff. Well, yeah, nobody else is going to buy your pesticide products. And so Canada, again, quietly selling to the Europeans, selling to other markets, saying traceability standards. You can check our products. We're not going to be putting pesticides on them. So Donald Trump and all his cut red tape MAGA guys thought it sounded great. And they've lost their markets. And once your markets go, they don't come back. So this is a really bad year for American farmers. Right now in Canada, they're doing pretty darn good.
Now, finally, I'll just show you just a reminder of what went down in the Oval Office as well. This is where Donald Trump says that he thinks the people of Canada will love us again, will love him again. Again, just weird infantile language. Why would they love you again? You've engaged in conduct that is so hateful and spiteful and anti-Canada and anti their freedom. Why would they love you again? And who the hell talks like a little freaking petulant baby like that? Sociopaths. Here, play this clip.
Mr. President, what is Canada giving you in return? If you say Mr. Carney is going to be leaving Washington happy, what's Canada giving you in return?
Well, you'll find out, but I think the people of Canada, they will love us again. Most of them still do. If you say only 25%. I assume a lot of them. I think they love us.
And then the way Donald Trump even conceives of America and Canada as like business competitors. He's like, we compete for the same business, the United States and Canada. You know, there's one easy way to solve this. And when he's saying that, he's being serious. He wants to take away Canadian sovereignty. Here, play this clip.
And again, we want Canada to do great. But you know, there's a point at which we also want the same business. We're competing for the same business. That's the problem. That's why I keep mentioning one way to solve that problem is a very easy way. But we're competing for the same business. He wants to make cars, we want to make cars, and we're in competition. And the advantage we have is we have this massive market. So it's it's quite an advantage.
So Canada, stay strong. Go elbows up. I want you to know that here in the United States, there are tens of millions of people like me. We support you. We know you got to do what you've got to do. And Canada's leading the way in the world of the resistance against this Trump regime. Honestly, I was not that big of a fan and I've liked Carney before. I wasn't a big fan of what was going down in the Oval Office. And I understand that there's diplomacy that needs to be conducted. I understand that there's a subtlety to it. I understand that there are USMCA negotiations that are taking place. I understand that there is an effort to try to keep things, whatever, while, but you can't speak when you show Trump what went down. In my own opinion, you may disagree. Trump views that as weakness to take more and to take more and to take more. You have to stand up to him for anything at this point. So that was my overall view of it. And we'll see. But subscribe to Meidas Canada, everybody. Make sure you hit subscribe there. Subscribe here, but search Meidas Canada because Charlie Angus is going to have a lot of takes on this as well. Thanks for watching. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.